Hello and a hearty welcome to Putting Nutrition First in Zambia with me, Josie Perry. What's on the menu today? We take a closer look at how nutrition contributes to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals as we talk to Mulele Maketo Mulele, Director Development Planning at the Ministry of National Development Planning. Today's recipe shows you how to make sweet potato custards. And we wrap up the show with all those all-important tidbits on our Did You Know section. It's worth sticking around for. See you in a moment.
Nifuna mzukulu wanga uyu akakule na ntanzi akankale doctor akasamalire omwoyo w'abantu.
Nifuna mwana wanga akapunzire school akankale bwino akambe nchitebo.
Tuna wana wanga bakule bwino.
Every parent wants their children to succeed and lead a better life. But something sinister is threatening this heartfelt desire for millions of children in Zambia, especially those under 2 years of age. This menace is malnutrition. Malnutrition, especially childhood stunting, has devastating effects on individuals, families, nations, as well as economies. It is a global problem that ought to be stopped. A recent report estimates that Zambia will lose 180 billion kwacha in the next decade if stunting is not addressed. Despite this grim news, there is hope. Many organizations, local and international, are working hard to improve nutrition for Zambian children and the entire population. At the helm is the National Food and Nutrition Commission, government's advocacy and advisory body on matters relating to food and nutrition. The National Food and Nutrition Commission and its partners have an excellent strategy to reduce malnutrition and stunting. It is the first 1,000 Most Critical Days program targeting children from conception to 2 years of age. It's a window of opportunity that everyone should take advantage of because during this period, everything that could go wrong nutritionally has a better chance of being corrected, giving our children the best start to life. The first 1,000 Most Critical Days program draws on team effort and specialized synergies. It has brought together several government ministries like health, education, water development, sanitation and environmental protection, agriculture, fisheries and livestock, and community development and social services. This unique approach will ensure that all aspects contributing to improved nutrition are fully addressed. Children need food in order to grow well. Not mere food, but nutritious food in the correct amounts and frequency to build them for the future.
Our main aim is to combat stunting in our community. We've observed that our children are not growing well. That's why we came up with this group so that we can try to teach our women in the communities, our families in the communities on how we can utilize the locally available foods with their nutrition content that can help them to grow well. From that, we even do outreaches. We go out into the communities to teach them, especially we target the under 5 days, under 5 clinic days. We go there and demonstrate to them on how they should prepare these locally available foods.
Reducing malnutrition in Zambia has many advantages. It will unburden our health system, save lives and money, and reinvest the time stolen through loss of man-hours due to illness. In short, investing in nutrition will improve our economy. The message is clear. We must spread the news and make sure that everyone is aware that giving our children the best start to life needs our total involvement. Parents, families, communities, schools, churches, the private sector, NGOs, cooperating partners, and everyone must play their special role to make our children's dreams a reality. Optimal nutrition is essential for the success of several of the Sustainable Development Goals, and many SDGs impact nutrition security. Here are the SDGs and how they relate to nutrition.
SDG number 1, no poverty. Being poor limits the ability of individuals to access adequate food.
SDG number 2, zero hunger. Agriculture and food security are cornerstones of nutrition.
SDG number 3, good health and well-being. Up to 45% of deaths in children under 5 are caused by undernutrition.
SDG number 4, quality education. Learning and focusing in school is difficult without a sufficient diet.
SDG number 5, gender equality. When women control the family income, children's health and nutrition improve at a greater rate.
SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation. Access to safe water and sanitation is a prerequisite for nutrition.
SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth. High levels of malnutrition in some countries may result in 11% loss to GDP.
SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production. Tackling resource use and degradation is key for sharing resources and improving access to quality food.
SDG number 13, climate action. Climate change may reduce food production and cause water scarcity.
SDG number 15, life on land. Soil degradation threatens our ability to grow food.
SDG number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. War and conflict are major underlying factors of nutrition insecurity.
SDG number 17, partnerships for the goals. Aid allocated to nutrition has high returns. A $1 investment in nutrition has demonstrated a $16 return in economic growth.
Welcome back. 5 years ago, world leaders from 193 countries met and agreed the Sustainable Development Goals. These are a set of 17 goals meant to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, fight inequality, tackle climate change, and achieve sustainable development for all. The National Food and Nutrition Commission firmly believes that in order for this to happen, good nutrition is a prerequisite. And so today, we are going to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals and how nutrition affects them. Would like to welcome our guest, Mr. Mlele. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good. My first question to you is, what does the Ministry of National Planning and Development do?
Okay, thank you very much. The Ministry of National Planning was established in 2016 by His Excellency the President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and the mandate of the ministry is derived from the Gazette Notice number 863 of 2016, and it includes us doing the national visioning, development planning. We also do national statistics and census. There's also public investment planning, which includes project appraisals, which we're supposed to be doing. We also have population development and issues to do with development cooperation. So in a nutshell, that is what we do. And also there is climate change. As you are aware, climate change is impacting negatively on the livelihoods of Zambians, and that has been added because it's now considered a matter of development so that we can plan for the mitigation and adaptation of climate change and do the overall coordination. So basically that's what the Ministry of Development Planning does.
Thank you very much. Today we're talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs as they are commonly called. What do they really mean for Zambia?
Well, as you said, I think world leaders sat in New York to develop this global agenda, which we are supposed to achieve by 2030. The Sustainable Development Goals are 17 of them, but they're accompanied by 169 indicators, or rather targets, and those targets are measured by a number of indicators, which are over 230 indicators. So Sustainable Development Goals mean a lot to this country because the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, in particular the one that deals with national values and principles, the 60th principle deals with sustainable development. Therefore, as government, we are mandated to ensure that in whatever we do in terms of development, we must ensure that it is sustainable. So it means a lot to Zambia because it's a requirement of the Constitution, but we also have a responsibility as government and as citizens to ensure that we plan and ensure that we utilize resources in such a manner that we do not deny those that will come after us or after we are long gone. So it's very important for us to ensure that development is sustainable.
Following from that, what significant milestones have we reached in the last 5 years?
Well, thank you very much. There's quite a number of things that we've done in the last 5 years with regard to Sustainable Development Goals. First and foremost, the development agenda of the country, as espoused by the 7 National Development Plan, has taken on board the Sustainable Development Agenda. So we've taken into account a number of targets of the Sustainable Development Agenda in the 7 National Development Plan, and our assessment is that we've taken on board 86% of the targets that are relevant to Zambia within the 7 National Development Plan, and the majority of those have not been taken in a casual manner, but actually they do represent the ambition and the scope of the Sustainable Development Program. So that is one of the major achievements that we've done. We've also developed a baseline report for the Sustainable Development Goals. This baseline report is supposed to help us have a baseline which we can measure ourselves in terms of achievement of the Sustainable Development Agenda. And also next year, the Zambian government will be, together with civil society and other stakeholders, will be making what we call a voluntary national presentation at the high-level policy forum in New York, which I think our Honorable Minister will be leading that delegation. And within there, we'll be reporting progress against some of the targets that we have, including the achievements that we have. Right now, the Ministry of Development Planning is actually conducting a mid-term review of the 7th plan, and part of that mid-term review will touch on our achievement towards the Sustainable Development Agenda. So I think by mid-2020, we'll be able to report, I think, to the nation exactly what the achievement levels have been like.
Talking about the 7th National Development Plan, it espouses nutrition. And let's talk about how nutrition relates to the SDGs.
Yes. Okay, nutrition is very important. Like you said, there are 17 goals. The second goal is actually zero hunger. And really that has to do with nutrition. So we are called as governments or as countries, as societies in the world to ensure that we design programs that are aimed at ensuring that no one goes hungry by the year 2030. And therefore nutrition plays a very important role. But apart from that, nutrition also does add to the other goals because, for instance, goal number 1 talks about no poverty. And for you to achieve no poverty, you must make sure that the poor have the basic nutritional status to do that. Goal number 3 talks about health, and the healthy population must make sure that you don't have malnutrition, you don't have stunting, you don't have wasting, and those are issues that nutrition actually deals with. Goal number 4, for instance, also is on quality education. The cognitive development of a child is very important, and for that to be achieved, nutrition plays a very important role in the cognitive development of a a child for you to ensure that the education achievements are quite high. Even when we go to goal number 5, which talks about gender, it's very important that because especially the women in our households are the ones who ensure that children get the required nutritional status. So if you really look across the goals, nutrition touches quite on a number of them. I think maybe out of 17 goals, it touches almost on 8 to 9 goals of the 17 goals.
Exactly, and that's why we believe that nutrition is a cornerstone of national development. But one would be pretty interested in knowing, are you monitoring the impact, or how are you bringing other ministries and stakeholders to recognize the role that nutrition plays?
Okay, because the 7 National Development Plan is premised on an integrated multi-sector approach. So what it means is that we don't expect one sector in isolation to work alone. In this case, for instance, the Nutrition Commission to work in isolation, but nutrition has to work with others. So what we've done is within the 7 National Development Plan coordination framework, we've made sure that all the sectors come to the table, and we've formed certain groups. For instance, we have what we call the cluster advisory groups, which are based on the 5 pillars of the plan. So we have 5 cluster advisory groups. Then we also have the National Development Coordinating Committee, the NDCC, which is a platform which brings all actors together, and all these actors are both state and non-state actors, the private sector, civil society, faith-based organization, the youth, and so on and so forth. So nutrition issues are supposed to be discussed at such a forum, and the next NDCC will be focusing on the midterm review of the plan, and nutrition will be one of those that will be on the agenda to be discussed when we meet around April of 2020. So I think these platforms are very important to ensure that everyone does contribute to the development of the country without leaving anyone behind, because that's what the SDGs are all about.
Finally, in one breath, how do you plan to collaborate with the National Food and Nutrition Commission to push the nutrition agenda?
Actually, not plan to collaborate. We're already collaborating with them. We are on their committee, even at a permanent secretary level. There's a steering committee where we are represented as Ministry of Planning. We have been together at Parliament, where we've addressed members of Parliament on issues to do with nutrition, even from a development perspective. So we will continue this collaboration and continue to ensure that the programs that are aimed at reducing nutrition are implemented, and that they derive the benefits that are there. And that is the role of Ministry of Planning, to try to bring a framework together where people can actually advance issues of development, including nutrition.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on to the show. That's all we have time for.
No, thank you very much. The pleasure has been mine.
All the best.
Thank you.
Our recipe today is packed with nutrition. Off the top of my head, energy, vitamin A, and other micronutrients. It's good for babies 6 months and above, as well as for the entire family. Sit back and enjoy how to make sweet potato custard.
And that's all we had time for today. Thanks for tuning in. Join me, Josie Piri, and my production crew on the next edition of Putting Nutrition First in Zambia. Goodbye and God bless you.
Nutrition is the heart of a nation. It's the